So, so what today's the year 2015. So 4 years ago, almost 4 years
Yeah.
ago, like 3.5 years, because the movie came out like in December. So 3.5 years ago, we were blessed with the Tintin movie, which they've been talking about for years. Now, I remember hearing years ago before it came out that they were going to make it, but I didn't think it was going to be real because my I think on the New Yorker they had an article about Tintin, and I was reading this, and they were saying like it would be possible that Steven Spielberg would make a movie about Tintin. And I was thinking, going, no, it's never going to happen because I didn't think it was going to come out because my expectations was low. Then they released pictures, so that's why I went like they showed the picture of Haddock, they showed a picture of like the desert, and then they showed like one other picture. Oh yeah, then they showed a picture of Thompson Thompson. So I was just like
Well,
going,
there was
like,
the one where they're on the top, sitting on the bottom of the boat
yes, that's
at
right.
sea. Yes.
And then and so I think this is around the time where I met you, Brian. We were talking about it, and I was saying this movie's gonna be great, and you were like, I don't know, Joey. I'm like, don't you think it's gonna be great? I don't know, Joey. Come on, it's gonna be great. No, I don't know, Joey.
Well, I'm gonna say it before, like I guess I launch into anything with this. I feel a lot better that there's a Tintin movie than there isn't.
Right.
I think that the final product is sort of confused on what it wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
because it picked the source material which had some of the best dialogue that was ever in the Tintin book, but not really the most action, especially not in the first book.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think now, looking back on it, that this is sort of where we got modern Peter Jackson from,
Right.
which is that Tintin as a book looks to be like, I would say, like maybe a quarter of an inch thick.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that difficult to make a movie out of it, especially with the storyboarding being done for you, being that it's a comic book.
Yeah.
But they somehow managed to stuff it to being over 2 hours
Uh-huh.
and not somehow get to Red Rackham's treasure at all.
Yeah.
Somehow cramming in another villain and then like sort of using the crab with the golden claws.
Yeah.
It was just weird, like, because at some points I was thinking, like, why don't you just call this The Adventures of Tintin? Not try to do a specific story,
Yeah.
because you guys don't seem all that sold on The Secret of the Unicorn.
Right.
I mean, they were definitely doing the thing of, like, it's all based on the ship, but then you'd get sequences like, the ship falls over, and now we're following the little bottle as, like, a cat is running away from it, and Snowy's chasing it.
Their plane crashes in the desert, and they end up in the French Foreign Legion fort.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, I remember saying this to you,
Mhm.
for lack of a better term, this movie blew its wad halfway through. That action sequence
Which one?
was just, halfway through when they were in the desert where they're chasing the hawk.
Oh yeah.
That was so long.
Really?
Like,
You didn't
really.
Did you have fun watching
It
it?
was fun, but then all of a sudden, like when the whole crane thing happened at the end,
Yeah.
that wasn't fun.
Okay. All right. I will.
They're trying to sword fight. It's like Rackham and Haddock are trying to sword fight with a crane, basically.
I will.
Yeah.
I will admit. I love the movie. I did think that part was silly, but I did like the chase scene with the motorcycle.
It was cool, but that would have been better if it was just the end.
Yeah.
If that was the end, I mean, granted, I'm complaining that they should have gotten to Red Rackham's treasure and everything, which I believe wasn't that was the introduction of calculus.
Yeah. That's because that's when he brings in
Which
the.
is great. You already have it right there.
And that's, yeah. Because that's where they bring in the shark-shaped submarine.
Which is just amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, and then like, but for some reason you have the whole like ending like it's like we're gonna be going on and finding this treasure and all this, which is super awkward if the next one doesn't get funded.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's setting itself up for the sequel, basically.
Right, and you don't have that locked in.
It's like the ending of the Super Mario Brothers movie where Peach comes or Daisy
comes back.
with like a gun saying, "Come on, Mario, come on, Luigi, I need your help." The end, and it never happened.
No. Keep in mind, it was a terrible movie, so they have an excuse not to pursue the sequel.
Exactly. No, and that's always the thing that I hate is just like counting your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Like I remember the movie The Golden Compass did the same thing.
Yeah.
Remember?
oh yeah, and I mean I enjoyed Prometheus, but it definitely did it too.
Mhm.
Where she's like, she's gonna go on to the next planet now. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but yeah, she's gonna go on to the next planet with the head of David.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen 2.
Ooh,
When Sean Connery gets killed at the end, but they show you basically that he's going to be brought back to life,
right.
and nothing happens after
In
that.
the comic, that character didn't die.
I'm gonna say I
Alan
think that was a great
Alan
comic.
Quartermain will be back, but you won't see it in theaters.
No. Oh man, it's just one where you just go ahead and say like the adventures will continue. Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure they will.
Adventures will continue if we get money for it.
Yeah. And
I get the green light.
And I feel like though, like especially when you see like how short the Tintin books are, they didn't have much of an excuse not to just do the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's so many Tintin books to go on and do too. It's not like you're like strapped for source material.
Right.
It's not like with The Hobbit splitting it up into a trilogy because you really don't have another good Lord of the Rings-esque book to do. I mean, good Lord, imagine the Silmarillion if either of you have read it.
I've only read Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I still have not read the Silmarillion.
It is
But
not worth it. It's not,
really?
It's not even a cohesive story. It's just a group of them because, I mean...
Isn't it just like a history of...
Ish. I mean, basically, Christopher Tolkien, after his dad died, went ahead and looked at his desk and saw a bunch of, like, mushed up paper and said, okay,
Let's publish it.
he's like, let's publish it. And it's very not nonsensical. It's more or less a group of short stories.
Okay.
But it's sort of like, it almost reads like bad fan fiction sometimes where...
I was told that, like, you need to make that into, like, a freaking TV series if you want to make a movie out of the Silmarillion.
That's not even worth it to do because it's almost sounds like a little kid going like, Sauron, he had a master. His name was Morgoth, and Morgoth had an army of Balrogs. He had like 10 billion Balrogs, and he just ravaged the world with them.
And then Gandalf had 50,000 Gandalfs.
It's seriously like read like that too. It's like, and you know what? There was this place that was like Atlantis. It's like, but it was called Numenor, and it's just like, and that fell under the seas. So that's why it's not mentioned in Lord of the Rings. It's like really just bad fan fiction almost. You go like, okay, that's where Chris Tolkien started.
But back to Tintin.
Yes.
Going back to the Tintin movie. Now, you were saying that you liked the casting in the movie except for
Captain Haddock. I honestly thought that... I think Andy Serkis is very good at motion capture. I think he's a good motion capture actor. I mean, I kind of feel bad for him because I know he's never going to win an Oscar that way.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at the same time, though, you could have had him as like just a coordinator. You didn't have to cast him.
Right.
Because the thing is, at the end of the day, his voice didn't match up with the way that the character looked.
Yeah.
He was trying to give him that Scottish brogue.
Yeah.
I think it's a Scottish burr.
Yeah, Scottish burr. Thank you. A brogue is Irish.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was trying to give him that, and there's never anything that said that Haddock was Scottish.
I never got the intention of that. I mean, Haddock. I mean, other than being the name of the fish, it doesn't really signify any Celtic origin.
I mean, you could say maybe he's Welsh or something. I could see that.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, though, is that what I was going to say a while back when we were talking about this is that I think that Steven Spielberg already had the perfect actor who's in his stable, who's in Indiana Jones, John Rhys Davies. He would have been an amazing Captain Haddock. He looks like Captain Haddock. And, like, you could just, like, see, like, he's even got, like, more charisma. Like, you could just see Andy Serkis, like, you can hear him sometimes just going, like, oh, I'm trying to make a voice while trying to sound charismatic.
Oh, no. Abandoned ship.
Yes.
There's a mutiny.
Let's get some beer or whiskey. He drank
I can't do it, Captain.
I just don't have the power. Speaking of which, great segue. I realized that Simon Pegg, who also did Scotty in Star Trek, also did one of the voices of Thompson and Thompson.
Yeah,
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Yeah,
that was great.
That was a good casting. On that.
Oh yeah, that was fine, and that kind of is because like Edgar Wright was one of the three guys.
That's
who
right.
wrote
He was one of the
Tintin.
writers.
Right,
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's weird because you can kind of sense that there were more than one writer in the room because there just with certain moments in there where you just be like, well, that kind of came out of left field.
Yeah.
Like I think that the Thompson twins were sort of Thompson and Thompson were a good example of where kind of the motion capture stopped and it just was a CG animated movie because there'd be moments where it'd be a close up of Tintin and you saw his pores.
Yeah.
Like it was that like they put that much detail into it. He's like the way he moved his face. But then you'd see Thompson and Thompson, they're straight up rubbery cartoon characters.
Well, I mean, it's always fun like that because when Peter Jackson was talking to Steven Spielberg, they said we have to make this animated. So of course they got to keep all the cartoony facial features and stuff.
Well, they do, but like then you see like the way that Tintin looks.
Right.
Tintin is like from the back of the head, yes, cartoony, but from the face though, no, he's not. He's very much like this is where your cheekbones are. Like, all this detail that you don't see in other characters in the movie.
Right.
Like, then you see, like, Haddock next to him, who's got this giant cartoony
This
nose.
giant bulbousy nose. It's like almost like Mario's nose.
Yes. But it's so weird how you have someone who's so human-like put next to somebody who's straight up a cartoon character, and you go, okay, it's like the Last Action Hero, seeing like Arnold Schwarzenegger talk to the cat thing.
the cartoon cat cop.
Yes.
Or like the black and white, that one, it was like a Maltese Falcon sort of cartoony look, not cartoony, but like this black and white film noir sort of detective.
Mm-hmm.
I think, well, because in the comics, Tintin's face was very basic. It was just dot dot nose and mouth. That's
right.
So that's why in the movie they gave him just a basic, like a more basic, more.
It's kind of funny, like in the opening of the movie, like when he gets his picture, his portrait drawn in the market square.
Yeah.
They just make him look just like the cartoon.
Right.
And that painter is looks a lot like Hergé. He was supposed to be modeled after Hergé. I remember in the
There's your fan service.
Yep, there you go. Seriously, when I first saw the movie, when they showed him, I was like, Hergé, what are you doing there?
Like,
You
well,
silly goose.
He's making his cameo. Alfred Hitchcock style.
I mean, he's dead. He's been dead for like 30-some years, but hey, here he is. Wait, what year did he die? I don't remember.
I'll fact check that for you.
Hergé, yeah, he's got his phone. Peter's got his phone out.
I will say though, when it came to the movie,
Yeah.
overall, I was really entertained by it. I liked it.
Mhm.
But like, I mean, I did have like my little things with it.
1983 is when he died, by the way.
1983. Okay. All right.
He was 75.
Oh.
He had a good long life.
Yeah, that's a good life.
But I think what's funny though is that they kept certain things that like that certain things that you could tell, like, okay, this is European in origin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's, with the exception of Tintin, he maybe had his moments in the comics, but everybody he was surrounded by, with the exception of Professor Calculus, were all raging alcoholics, including his dog.
That's one thing you said, like, I remember you telling me this, like, when I was telling you about the racial thing that people complain about. You were saying to me, Joey, if people are complaining about the racism in Tintin, the only people that should be complaining are the alcoholics and the senile.
Yes, it truly is.
And the half-deaf people, because Calculus was hard of hearing.
And senile.
And senile. Yeah. He could build a rocket, but he was still senile.
But, like, I mean,
Here's to the crazy ones.
Yes. I also love, like, I don't know, everybody in Tintin was great because there was no real stick in the mud, like, characters. Like, you had Haddock at some points. It's just like, Tintin, I just want to drink. We don't want to go anywhere right now.
I just want to party, man. Can we just sit down? I finally inherited my Marlin Spike, my mansion. Can I just stay here? Like, no, Captain, we gotta go on an adventure. Fine.
He would have those moments too. That was great.
Or sometimes trouble would find them.
Yes.
Because even though Tintin has a huge amount of good luck, trouble still finds him. Pretty much.
Oh yeah. I mean, good luck to the point of, like, as far as it can go, you know?
Yeah.
While having, like, adventures and being shot at multiple times.
And getting hit on the head so many times.
Oh, yeah.
There was someone did a fan picture of, like...
It's like, you figure at one point, you know he's going to have a cerebral hemorrhage at some point from all the concussion he's taking.
Someone drew a fan picture of Tintin. It was Tintin with, like, a big, giant, cartoony, like, bump on the back of his head. And someone was saying, Tintin, you've been hit on the head several times. Are you going to be okay? Nah, I'll be fine. I'll just walk it off.
Oh, I think something that should have happened by now is there's all the 60s Spider-Man cartoon memes.
Yeah.
Why hasn't anybody ever done that with Tintin?
I don't know.
There are so many moments that you could really do that with.
I'm sure there is.
Like Captain Haddock hallucinating, or like...
And he looks at the ball, he just throws it away. He's like, no, done with this shit. Wait, going back to the quick fan picture thing. I just thought this was hilarious. I just want to bring this up. During the World Cup, when Belgium beat America, someone drew a picture of Tintin and Captain America on the couch watching the World Series. And it was Tintin going, yay! And then Captain America was just sitting there going, like all grumpy and stuff. It was the guy just sitting there going, too soon?
Oh, man.
I just thought that was freaking hilarious.
It is pretty good.
I love that that's how they have the mascots for America. It's Captain America. For Belgium, it's Tintin.
Oh yeah. Every country has their significant mascot. Like Japan has either Astro Boy or Goku. France has Asterix.
Canada has the Canada has the Mackenzie brothers.
England has Doctor Who and James Bond and Harry Potter, and we have
Captain America.
we have Marvel, Spider-Man. We got all the
Bugs
Superman,
Bunny.
Superman, Batman.
Mickey Mouse,
Mhm.
and all sorts of stuff. All sorts of wonderful, crazy characters.
Minnie Mouse is branching out.
Minnie Mouse?
Well, Mickey Mouse is just like they've got Disney parks pretty much all over the world now.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Oh, there it is. Peter found the picture.
I found
Peter found the
the
picture.
cartoon from the World Cup. Just see them both wearing their colors.
I like that Snowy's almost drawn like Mr. Peabody.
Yeah. Hello, Sherman. Or Herman. Was it Herman or Sherman?
Sherman.
Sherman.
I think that as much as I don't like later Family Guy, I love the one of where Peter learns something and all of a sudden you hear, "That's right, Mr. Peabody. Quiet you."
But back to Tintin. But going back to Tintin.
Yes.
What were we talking about just now? We were talking about, let's see, fighting, shooting at him, the bump on his head. What else were we talking about? Oh yeah, his luck. His charismatic luck. And also
His panache too when it comes to piloting any and every vehicle he gets in.
Yeah,
he does.
He's great.
Yeah.
There was one comic where he does learn how to speak elephant. Because what happens is he's in the wild, he gets confronted by these elephants, and he takes like a piece of wood, he carves it into a trumpet, and he starts blowing it like doot 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 doot, and the elephants understand. He goes, "Great snakes! I've learned how to speak elephant."
I've learned their mating call. No.
Oh, speaking of the animals too, Snowy. I find it funny that Snowy, he's not afraid of any animal that's bigger than him, except for spiders.
Yeah.
My question is though, like, I'm trying to figure out exactly what type of dog he is. To me, he looks like a breed, mixture between a terrier and a Bichon Frise.
He's a fox terrier.
A fox terrier.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, he's white, and usually fox terriers aren't white. They're normally like brownish, whitish, blackish.
Mhm.
But if you do see like a white fox terrier, it's very rare. But I think he just came up with that dog just as, you know.
Well, gentlemen, I do believe he is just a dog.
He's
By my scientific expertise, I believe Snowy is what you call a dog.
He is of canine origin.
He is indeed a dog.
Oh man, I still just getting back to my favorite thing, like just when it comes to Snowy, is Snowy has like those moments of like he really is the character that breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
He always like looks like right at you in the panel and just goes, "Can you believe this?" Or just like I've always wanted to just see a meme with just Snowy just where you see Tintin like gets knocked out and just Snowy going, "Bitch, please, you could have avoided that."
And that's the only time Snowy speaks. I mean, he's not speaking to anyone else, but he does get bubble quotes in the comics.
Yeah, he does.
Where in like the movie or in the cartoon, he just goes.
See, that was the thing that kind of I was wondering when they were announcing the Tintin movie. I'm like, are they going to give him subtitles, or are they just going to straight up have a talking dog?
Come on, Snowy, let's go. Okay, Tintin.
Well, with him, it would just be sort of like oh man, hey, booze,
sandwich.
So basically, you're saying that Snowy would turn to Brian from Family Guy.
Oh man, hopefully not.
Come on, Snowy, let's go. No, I'm too tired. I need to rest. Really? Not for this pig air? Okay, come on, it's not fair. Come on, chase the pig air, Snowy. Come on, chase the pig air.
Oh, that's got one of my favorite ones, just with. What's that, Peter? I'm telling you to go outside. Trouble at the old mill? Oh, for Christ's sakes. Let's go!
But that would, but I mean, but like I said, in the comics, it's the only time where he speaks, and he does break the fourth wall where he has the bubble quotes and stuff. So.
I mean, it's a cartoon.
It is a cartoon.
They could have just gone like, bloop, bloop, bloop. You see the bubbles just forming above his head.
Like Felix the Cat.
Yes.
Like Felix the Cat, he just gets like boop, 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 like the really old Felix the Cat cartoons where whenever he speaks, it'll like slowly just pop up, and then there's the bubble quote.
Right before let's see what's in my magic bag. Pulls out an escalator.
he pulls out just like a ladder.
Pulls out a Tommy gun.
Say hello to my little friend.
That's Quentin Tarantino, Felix the Cat.
Well, what is it? There's the Quentin Tarantino parody of the Muppets. What was it? Heat Fozzie? Oh, it was great. just where Kermit goes postal because someone's killed Miss Piggy and turned her into bacon on his stove.
Oh,
She's
God.
like, "Oh, Piggy, Piggy, oh no!" You just hear the sizzle. But the best one is where like he just pulls out a gun and just goes like, "Say hello to my little friend."
But back to Tintin.
Yes.
How many times have we gone on track or off track?
Oh, yeah. We're still talking about Tintin now.
Well, we've only got like one movie to quote from, and it's not a very quotable movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got like moments of just like, no, not the sandwich, get the keys.
What are you doing?
I actually like because like that's one of my favorite moments where you could definitely see that Tintin has like a definite personality outside of just playing the straight man. Because he gets so frustrated with Snowy and Captain Haddock.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was really hoping for some of that to come out, but I know they were going like, okay, this is the first time he's meeting Captain Haddock. But just there are moments where he just goes, no, you don't have to have like. He's like trying to like hold like a little intervention for him. It's like you don't have to have booze.
Well, I mean, there is that scene where right before the chase scene where he's all like, "I could smell it on you" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that quickly gets resolved when Haddock's like, "I'll get this bazooka. I'll come with you" and stuff, and then he.
It's not like the everlong frustration like that comes out with Snowy in so many of the books. It's just like, where have you been? Seriously.
Phew, Snow, you smell like booze.
Speaking of booze, I just remember when they in the movie when they add on to the seaplane thing where they crash into the desert.
Oh, how he gasses up the plane?
Yeah, it's like I remember when they talk about like the plane's running out of gas, and Captain Hack accidentally drinks the bottle of rubbing alcohol in the plane's first aid kit, and Tintin was like, "Quick, pour the rubbing alcohol into the gas tank." He's like, okay." He still didn't drink it. He's like, it's like, hurry, we're running out of gas. Gas. He puts his mouth on it, burps in the.
What if he farted in there?
Yeah. Joey was asking, Peter, is that possible? I'm like, well, Joe, you ever heard of natural gas powered vehicles? Granted, you need a lot of it, but
I just remember there was one scene where I was like, oh, really? When like Tintin goes through the windshield unscathed completely and like about to like fall into the turbine.
The propeller almost cuts itself and just stops right like inches away from his head.
It like cuts the hair off a little bit.
Just like what it does. Like, no, not the hair.
It's like it just also the propeller just stops suddenly, just like when it's an inch away from his head, and then just falls off.
Well, it's like
and yeah, you point like no scrapes from the glass that he went through.
But you see like how much like details like in his face and things like that.
Yeah.
You're sort of like, okay, all right, I know it's a cartoon, but he just did go through the windshield. You'd be eating glass right now.
Yeah, it would be funny though if he woke up. It's like, you went through the windshield of the plane, Tintin. It's like, really? How's my face? He's like, he goes up to feel his face. And he sees like his arms just all covered in bits of glass in there.
I could just imagine how my face is right now. Well, it's kind of like how I always thought this in. I promise I'll switch right back.
It's okay. It's all right.
But in the Avengers, when Loki throws Tony Stark through the window, that was the only thing I didn't buy.
Right.
I know that it's a superhero movie, but damn, he just threw him like not just through a plate of glass, but building grade window.
Yes, that's like
he just throws him through, and he's okay.
At least double pane glass right there, and he just went through it like it was candy glass.
I mean, yeah, that just like always kind of got me. Where I was like, you could have just broken the glass for another reason and just have him just like throw him out the window.
You could make the argument that he's Iron Man because that's what everyone makes the argument.
Oh yeah, but then again, like later on, Hawkeye like has to get out. So he uses his last arrow to get him through like the window, and you see like he's hurt when he like falls through. So it's like, well, Tony just went through and he didn't have anything.
Tony was good.
But yeah, just like Tintin with his face full of glass.
Tintin, gonna be okay? Yeah, just woke it up.
I'm fine, Captain. I'm just fine. Tintin, you have got to go to a hospital. I know that we're in the middle of the desert.
But also, Tintin, you've also been hit on the head several, maybe possible thousands of times throughout the entire series. You know, you kind of want to see a doctor. No, I'll be okay. I'll be fine. I brought this down for you guys. I know the viewers probably can't see this, but I brought this down. I don't know if you guys ever saw this. A while back. I picked up a copy of a book called Tintin and the Alpha. It was supposed to be the most recent book that Hergé was working on before he died, and he was in the middle of making the story, and what this whole book is pretty much is it's pretty much just the sketchbooks of all of what the story was going to be like, except for the ending. We don't know what happens in the ending. So the last thing they even have a picture of the last thing he ever drew, and it's this scene right here. It's a picture. If you guys can't see it, plus I'll put this on YouTube. I'll just put a picture over it. It's a picture of it's a doodle. It's a sketch of Tintin at gunpoint being escorted by just one of the thugs, and the thugs saying like, now you're gonna be turned into so and so, and the bad guy say, come on, let's move it, and that's the last thing he ever drew before he died.
Oh, so and that was the end of Tintin.
Pretty much.
Actually, the bad guys won.
So it's like that one scene in Monty Python where it's like, well, then the cartoonist had a heart attack, and the cartoon was completely over. I mean, there was other sketches too, but that was supposedly. Oh, no, it's this one. It's this one. Yeah, it's this picture. It's this. They're both two separate pictures, and this one he was saying, "On your feet, get moving. It's time for you to be turned into Caesar," because they were gonna. This whole book, the whole comic was supposed to be about art.
Turn into a Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar. So pretty much this whole Tintin and the Elfar were supposed to be about some controversy or some scandal going on with the painting and with art.
Mm-hmm.
And so even Captain Haddock is learning how to paint. And so in this scene, there's going to be what was going to happen was they were going to put Tintin in this box, and they were going to put cement on him.
Oh,
so
that's going to be a mafia style ending. A pair of cement shoes.
Pretty much
alive.
Pretty much that's what this guy was talking about. He's like, I'm going to turn you into a Caesar, like a statue or something. So we could pretend that he lived, but that's the last thing that Hergé drew before he died. Like he didn't like die like at his desk, but like maybe he was gonna say, all right, I'll get back to it. Then he just died like somehow. So, and this is the last thing he drew. It was just like, oh man, because like this was getting to be an interesting story, and it was just like, and the bad guy was like this hippie looking sunglasses wearing guy. Like this is supposed to be what he was supposed to look like.
I don't think he was a hippie, Joey.
He looks like it. He looks somewhat hipsish.
He just looks like he looks more like the character from The Dictator. Remember?
Like the Dictator?
The Dictator.
Oh, the Dictator.
Yeah,
well, he does look like
Admiral General.
Arab chief.
Yeah, Admiral General. What's his name?
Yeah.
The character that Sacha Baron
Basically looks like Gaddafi.
Yeah. Gaddafi.
So pretty much this whole book is, if you guys want to look at it for a little bit. Yeah, this is.
I just want to actually see the end here. Oh. Okay, so kind of on the last one, wow, they actually really like cut down on how many titles they put on the back.
Yeah.
But they put Tintin in the Land of the Soviets, though.
Yeah.
Which didn't always used to be in terms of the back, like, adventures.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's some books that had, like, Tintin in the Congo on there.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. Oh, yeah, they don't have it on the back here, it looks like. But yeah, they got the Crab with Golden Claws, Shooting Star, The Secret of the Unicorn. Look, I just realized something.
What's up?
Crab with the Golden Claws, Secret of the Unicorn, in between them, the Shooting Star.
Oh yeah.
And that was never mentioned in the movie.
Well, I think because like they were just trying to condense everything, because I mean the Shooting Star is just like they go to an island and then they just see like this giant mushroom looking thing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean it's weird because that sort of cross-tied into Flight 714,
Right.
Which then was sort of Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
It was as Aliens as it got for
Right.
Tintin,
Right.
which the Shooting Star kind of was that too.
Oh, it was supposed to be like aliens or the end of the world and stuff. Because wasn't there like a scene in there where like there was a prophet following Tintin around saying like the world is ending? And Tintin's like, shut up, leave me alone. No, the world is ending. If you come close to me, I will smack. No, he doesn't say that, but.
Well, I mean that's why, like, once again, the second half of the book series is a lot better than the first, just because Tintin has that personality that's not always so chipper.
Right. He was a realist. He was very.
He would get cross.
Yeah, like if somebody got in his way or if somebody was messing with him, he'd be like, "Look what you've done! Shame on you!" and all that stuff.
They actually, I'm thinking just in terms of the movies,
mm-hmm.
if like they introduced Professor Calculus and then wanted to have like a good calculus story.
Yeah.
I mean, the Calculus Affair is an amazing book.
Yes.
That is such a fun one.
Where he gets kidnapped and stuff, and they have to chase him and stuff.
I mean, it's kind of funny because I can't see a bad one on here after Crab with the Golden Claws.
But then, Calculus also gets kidnapped in The Prisoners of the Sun.
He does. I mean, it's not. He didn't always stick around with them, you know.
Hello, everyone. I invented something new. I'm an exploding razor blade. Thanks, Calculus. I don't think we.
Oh, what is it? He had his gravity thing.
Yeah, that's where
The little ball with the string attached to it.
Yeah. That's how we found everybody.
Oh, that I still don't know how that worked.
Me neither. Well,
It's some kind of magnet.
it was science.
Book magic.
It's science. That's what it is. It's science. some explanation science.
Tintin in Tibet was very good.
That's a good one. There's a funny, quick story about Tintin in Tibet. What happened was around the time he made that book, Hergé and his wife, they either got divorced or they got separated, and Hergé kept having these dreams, like these really uncomfortable dreams, where it was just about a white field, and it's one of those dreams where it's like it may not sound creepy or very nightmarish, but it's like one of those dreams where it made you feel really uncomfortable, made you feel really uneasy and stuff. Like I'm sure you guys had those dreams before, where like you're in an environment and even though the environment doesn't seem so bad, there's something wrong with it. Like you're afraid of the unknown. So he kept having this recurring dream, and that's what inspired him to make Tintin in Tibet. And that's because also he was missing his buddy Chang, who was based off a real person, was one of his friends who taught him more stuff about art, like how, because if you notice differently how in the early Tintin books, his art drastically changes, and that's because that's when Chang, his buddy Chang, in real life taught him more skills and more techniques with his drawing.
Well, you can even notice it here, actually, on the back. So on the left here, you got a more modern version of Tintin, then it's right next to the original one from the Land of the Soviets. I mean, just look at the shape of his head.
Oh yeah, and his eyes too.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of which, like back on flight 714 to Sydney, made me think of one character, Laszlo. Remember Laszlo Caritas by chance?
Yeah.
He designed planes. Just looking at him, apparently he was actually based off of a real airplane designer named Marcel. Hold on, let me see if I can look it up. Marcel Dassault. I think he was a French airplane designer. But the way that he was portrayed, he almost kind of looked like Gru from Despicable Me.
Let me see.
Here's a picture of him.
Oh my God, he does look like Gru.
He has the scarf, the bald head, the pointy nose.
I think. Oh yeah, that's the guy who Calculus almost kicked his ass, or was it him or someone else that Calculus almost got into a fight in or something? Because there's a split moment where Calculus just loses his shit. His face turns red. He's just like, yeah! They're like, whoa, Calculus, chill out, dude. What the hell's going on?
I always like how Haddock and Calculus would have those. There's such great moments for comedy, but you know some people would be offended by it. Is like Calculus going, what? And Haddock's like, I'm saying this. It's a deaf person joke.
Yeah.
But and it was full of it, and I loved it.
But that's why there's that one scene in Red Rackham's Treasure where Haddock just pulls him aside and just says, you may be deaf, but I know you're not blind. So he pulls out like a marker and he draws on the wall saying, we are not interested in your machine, period. Or exclamation point.
Oh, man. So many good ones on here.
Yeah, those are some good ones.
I think I mentioned it to you, but all the books of Tintin that I grew up with were not soft copy. They were the hard copies that my dad had. They were falling apart like
really?
Nobody's business. The only one that we have that is actually, it's from the 1960s. We have a French copy of The Black Island.
Really?
Hardcover in perfect condition. Because my dad never read it. It was in French.
Awesome.
That's great, man. That's awesome.
Did you try to auction it at all?
I haven't tried. I mean, the only thing I'm thinking is because I'm wondering if maybe the French versions are more common than the English ones, that there might be more of those in circulation.
Probably.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going off any facts.
But if it was made in the 60s, it's got to be worth a lot.
It's got to have something.
Yeah, just don't take it to Pawn Stars. They'll probably jip you for it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man. Well, we're just about over an hour. Is there anything else you guys want to add, or any fun facts you guys want to add? Any fun stories you want to add, or any sort of love you want to add for Tintin? Any more fun facts?
I just remember fondly the intro theme music that they had for the cartoon show.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty memorable and awesome. And
keep thinking, buddy. You got this. Come on.
You see him jumping off like the runaway rail car, going on the submarine with Captain Haddock, running through the desert on a camel.
And then there's And at the very end of the intro, it's just him running in the spotlight and
Do
stuff.
do 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 do. Yeah.
How about you, Brian? Is there anything you want to add?
I think I had an interesting moment with my dad when I first started reading Tintin. Was he got really excited for me to read The Secret of the Unicorn?
Oh yeah.
And he got like and he asked me like, so what'd you think? I'm like, I like Red Rackham's Treasure. He's like, but what of The Secret of the Unicorn? And I'm just like, they talked a lot. Just like, because I mean, you have all the moments where like they'd be looking at the ships and stuff, and it's really good. Like looking back on it, but the first time I read it, I'm like, I don't know if I like this. Because I mean, I don't know that I've grown more fond of it as time has gone on. But I mean, Red Rackham's Treasure had a shark submarine,
A shark submarine and a swearing parrot.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that. Well, yeah, I forgot about that. Like they're apparently like when Captain Haddock's ancestor landed on the island, he just kept the parrots and the parrots' descendants like memorized his language. So when they go there, like blistering blue barnacles, blistering blue barnacles. They're like, well, Kevin, your language just became the language of an entire island of parrots. Oh man, God, it's like that episode of there's a TV show called Ugly Americans. Is that?
Oh yes, that was actually a pretty good show.
There's an episode where it was like an angry New Yorker got stuck on an island of birds, and then like he was just swearing, and then the swearing just became those birds' language.
I just remember what was it? The wizard just going like, I can't talk now. I'm in Danang.
All right, well, guys, I think we're just about all Tintined out, or we've just pretty much had everything we had to say. Unless there's anything else you guys want to add.
No, I would just say read Tintin. It's worth it.
Yes, read Tintin, read the books, watch the cartoons, see the movie if you want. We're not pushing it on you. I mean,
You should totally watch the movie. Peter won't push you. I'll push you. You should totally watch the movie.
yeah, like Joey will push you off a cliff if you do not see it. So.
I will push you off the Grand Canyon.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us. And what are some ways of saying goodbye in French besides au revoir, fi de sein, bon voyage?
You got
Au
it.
revoir.
Is that au revoir?
You-
Au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Oh, that's German.
Au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, Gesundheit. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
All right. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.